All right, folks. Welcome. We are airing Campaign for America, episode 41 with Dennis Andrew Ball. We have a call-in line that you can call in and ask questions with, and we're really excited for what we have upcoming here in the near future with your campaign and everything we got going on. I know you're coordinating a lot with everybody, so welcome, everyone. We are on Facebook, Telegram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. So with that being said, let me segue into our little disclaimer, and then I'll play the intro, and then you can do some housekeeping.
The views expressed on this show are expressly the views of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views, beliefs, or opinions of newsforus.world, its hosts, broadcasters, or affiliates. Remember, folks, always use your own discernment when viewing. We encourage our viewers to think for themselves.
In 1980, Ronald Reagan wore a white suit, a red tie, and a white shirt and addressed the nation. Hi, I am Dennis Andrew Ball, and I am running for President of the United States. I am talking to you right now because the debates that were conducted this week need to have a presidential response. The economic issues that both Barack Obama and Mitt Romney answered created in the minds of many of us unanswered questions of how do you sustain economic growth in the United States of America. In light of the decisions and the events that have happened since 2008, what do we need to do to reduce the deficit, increase job creation, maintain Social Security and Medicare, and provide the opportunity for our children and future generations not only to survive, but to thrive in a global economy. I would like to talk to you quickly on how I perceive what needs to happen. The United States of America at this time is suffering because the means of production have not equaled the ends of production that it requires in order to sustain its middle class. The United States of America must reindustrialize itself to make it possible that 23 million Americans can go back to work in industries that are productive for themselves and their families. What we are witnessing on a daily basis is the demise of the American family, the traditional American family, of children, parents, and grandparents, by people in authority who have used, abused, and misused their positions to hurt our people. This must stop, and it will under my administration. The need at this moment of time is to get our organs of power in business to invest in research and development to make it possible for industry to not only survive in America, but also to thrive. My attitude is that the production capability of the United States is equal to none. Our workers are very productive if given the opportunity, but they must be protected by government that concerns themselves with their best interests. And that has been a problem for many years in this country. My attitude also is that in order for our people to get themselves in a position to care for themselves and their children, we have to evaluate at this moment in time what is important for that to happen. And I believe that it will be more of a decision on the part of the American people when they go to the voting booth to decide who they think is best qualified to do that job. I believe also that we are in a position to make decisions that will impact the course of history and to bring about positive change in the lives of our family structure. I want to say that in order to do that, the means of production will have to be a top priority to reindustrialize the middle class and to provide the support for the future generations. I want to say this, that in terms of how we go about this business, the President of the United States should be very aware of what has happened and what needs to happen. My interest at this time is to educate through my administration of candidacy for presidency to make it possible for you to learn more about me and to decide if you are better off since the election of Barack Obama and the changes that need to happen in terms of the increase in gas prices, in food prices, the mortgage forfeitures that have happened since him, and also what we will do in the future to make it possible for more people to be employed out of 23 million who are not. Consider this opportunity to communicate to your friends and your neighbors my thoughts, and I look forward to hearing from you. I need presidential electors who will vote for me through the Electoral College when I win the states in this country to become your next president. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
All right, Dennis, you want to do some housekeeping for us?
Yes, want to do a little housekeeping here. I am actually broadcasting with you from Bellevue, Florida, which is about 80 miles north of Orlando, Florida. This is an interesting scenario because here in Bellevue, it is connected to the Marion County library system, which provides me an opportunity to continue on with my research and my work, production of book and authorship, and the campaign for the White House. Over the weekend, we had an opportunity here to connect with the campaign management, Pam Sullivan. Particularly, she is our Florida State campaign manager. And we are planning on having a group meeting on the 18th of October at the Central Library in Marion County, which is in Ocala, Florida. And that will begin at 3:30. The reason I bring that up is that I was in Orlando for 3 months. Everything there is money, parking, library fees, enormous fees, anything that has anything to do with printing, enormous. All of this is financial bigotry as far as I'm concerned. However, here, that's very different. And as a result, I'm here. So I want to say that because the other thing that makes me happy is that Mr. Robert Gettinger is his name. He has a group called Jail the Judges, but he's very good at graphic design. And if you notice the graphics you have put on our intro, Stephen, it reflects his work. And so I give him full credit. And we have decided we would like to put these graphics on billboards throughout the country, with donors being able to see their investment immediately, so that they know that we're legitimate and that they can trust us with future contributions to the campaign. For that, I'm blessed, and I hope others will be too. But I am happy today to hopefully introduce us to a person that I have made contact with for the Pennsylvania campaign, and her name is Debra Budjos. Has Debra come on?
Not as of yet, no. We're still waiting. Were you able to get a hold of her earlier?
Okay, so we're still waiting for her?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Do we have any call-inners, like live callers?
We can have them call in. So if you want to call in live, folks, you may do so now. We'll take your calls until we get Barbara on the line. So feel free to do that. And anybody that's watching.
Right.
Go ahead and continue. I got a few that I think we can reach out.
Hold on. Okay, so do we have a caller?
We do have one that was calling earlier. I just let them know they can call in now if they'd like.
Okay, so there are no callers at the moment?
At the moment, but we will have one coming up here in a minute.
Okay, that's
I was
fine.
trying to call in before we started the show. I was like, oh, we haven't started yet. Wait, give us a few minutes.
Right, okay. I just want to say this. This is a receipt I received today here at the library. This is a $10 receipt for 6 months of library support through the library card that I have from Marion County. This is my library card, okay? This is the same card that they would charge me $75 in Orlando, in Orange County or Osceola County, but this only costs $10. The situation is this too. I had the opportunity to make application for a room, okay? This is important because we're going to have a meeting on the 18th of October, and this meeting is for membership. Now, I spoke with Solomon today. She has rental sheds with product. She's a very go-getter type person, and she has a storage unit that she's converting into a meeting space also. That will not cost us anything to do the meetings there, but we're going to do this first one at the library.
Oh, I think we have a caller coming in.
Okay.
Hello?
Call from Barbara.latham.
Oh yeah, Barbara.
Barbara, can you hear us?
Yes, I dialed the call-in number, but I don't have your screen up.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You're on the call-in line, but go ahead. I'm glad you called in.
Oh, okay. I have several issues.
Go ahead, Barbara. We want to hear them. We were waiting for Deborah, but I don't know what's happened to her. She's disappeared. So
Oh,
let's
okay.
go for it. Let's go
Well,
for it.
there are two issues. There are so many for the next president to deal with, which is why we absolutely have to have Dennis Andrew Ball, because we already know if we vote or if the election is rigged, that the lesser of the two evils, meaning either a Democrat or Republican, is not acceptable. Our country will not survive. If it survives till the election, that is a partial miracle. However, assuming we get to that point, there's still much work to be done. We must elect an independent party candidate, and of course, Dennis Andrew Ball is who we are talking to right now. And so that is an option to save America right now. Two more issues that have not, I don't know that they've been brought up on this show, and there are so many other issues, but I'm going to say big pharma, which people are aware of the deadly drugs being approved. And also the second issue is big food. The toxic additives being put in our food now. And I shop even at a health food store. And even the organic foods, they have added these toxins. I'm talking about natural flavors and artificial flavors. These are all deceptive terms. And these are being added to organic foods now. Many of these are petroleum byproducts, very dangerous. And our environment, our air, our oceans, the soil, everything is polluted now. And the food is something that has not been talked about much. But I will say that if you go to the grocery store, you look at an ingredient list, and they're listed in order of the main ingredient, number one, and then let's say you have 15 ingredients. Number 15 is going to be the least amount of this ingredient, okay? So typically in the past, the last, meaning the smallest ingredients were your toxic ingredients, including both natural and artificial flavors. Why do they have natural and artificial? It's to fool the consumer, because the consumer thinks, oh, it's natural flavors. That's better than artificial flavors, so I'll choose this product. No, you're wrong. They are both the same. They are both toxic. Okay. If it says citric acid, that's to fool the consumer who thinks, oh, vitamin C, this must be a good product. No, it's not vitamin C, it's an acid. It will erode the enamel on your teeth. There have been videos on YouTube, and the topics are the 5 toxic ingredients in our food, added to our food, which will cause Alzheimer's. Okay. Do not be deceived even by these videos, because there are not just 5. In fact, when I looked at a list, there were tens of ingredients. I mean, over 100. I mean, nothing that you can remember. So my advice to the consumer is, you go to the store, you look at the ingredient list, And if there's something on there and you don't know what it is, guess what? That means it's toxic. All right. You are an educated person. And if you don't know what you're looking at, it's a toxin. Okay. But what has happened now that I wanted to point out, and this has happened just in the last few months, but the most toxic ingredients, which have been, say, out of 15 ingredients, they're going to be number 14 and 15, not number 1 and 2. Okay. But however, they have moved these up the list to the either to the not to the bottom of the list. They are moving up towards the top. So we're talking toxic ingredients, okay? And so they are speeding up their genocidal campaign. We know we're being attacked through the environment, the soil, the ocean, the air we breathe, the cell towers.
Don't forget the weather.
Us, many people. Yeah, but I'm gonna stop right now, and I just wanted to raise this issue. But the big pharma is the many deadly drugs. They downplay these or do not list them at all. And so we are in danger in this country. The food, big pharma, these are just two things, but there are numerous other ways that we are being affected for this New World Order genocidal plan. And that's why it is absolutely essential that we do not vote for the lesser of the two evils this time around. There is an excellent third-party independent candidate. He is on our program with us today. It was his program. And that's why
You say it so well. Barbara.
Okay. And I'm going to stop now. Thank you.
Well, thank
for your
you.
call.
Right. And I have to intervene here too with Tabitha Finn. We had her last week, and today she was in a rampage because she went to court regarding her daughter Brianna and Brianna's baby, Taylor. Taylor is a sweetheart. She's only, maybe 6 to 8 months old, but she's very vital and very, very sweet. Well, the situation was in court. This CPS worker had come out to the house there in Michigan, in Flint, about 3 weeks ago, did an evaluation, and made a recommendation to the court that the daughter, Brianna, and the baby be put under guardianship. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It's terrible, okay? And so you push people too far, they're going to respond very badly. So I talked to her about the orders that were coming out of the court today, and they're final, and I told her those are appealable. She can appeal them to the appellate court on the state level, Michigan State Appellate Court. And I told her how to do that: file a notice of appeal, that the clerk of the appellate court will contact the clerk of the trial court and request a copy of the record, which will be sent up to the clerk's office. From there, there'll be a schedule that the court will request of the parties to file their briefs, both opening, response, and reply briefs, which Tabitha can initiate. And I went through the process all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. So that seemed to be very helpful to her, which it should. She fires her lawyer, who I guess did nothing for her, and proceeded to communicate with me the things that she needs to do and do it timely right now. And she said tomorrow she's going to do it. So that's a very important event that happened today, because that's the reason why I'm here. And as you know, I've written many books, and that's one reason I'm here in this library right now, doing what I need to do to keep the fire flaming. And I mean flaming, because it needs to flame big time all over this country to correct the problems of this generation. It almost appears, Stephen, to me that we have a generation of stepchildren who are spoiled, like spoiled stepchildren.
It sure looks
And
like
this
that
is,
to me.
doesn't it appear that way to you?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, a privileged group of stepchildren who think that they have no responsibility, accountability, and everything that you and I own belongs to them. That is a problem. And it's a cultural problem that has been allowed to evolve for too long. And that's why I'm here. And I want to change that, and it has to. And the only way to get this done is for the people to jump in and become the answer, run for office, understand what's going on. My books speak to all this. My books are here to get educated. And that's why I'm here in the library, to help educate people to know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And that's important in order to change the culture to the we, us, and our, from the me, mine, narcissism and mental illness that has so gripped so many of our people, especially young people. So my generation failed their kids. We can't. We've got to help them and move it forward. What say you?
I agree. We have to, and we will. We can't afford to. We can't afford to hesitate in this moment. This is for all the marbles. This is literally for the fate of humanity, folks. And we will. We will do this, and we will put an end to this crap once and for all.
I believe it. I'm going to the United Nations next month with my book, The Ball Doctrine, Creating Peace and Prosperity in Every Nation. I have another book called The United Nations Agenda 21, The Big Lie. That book defines the problems in the culture and promotes and presents solutions to the problems in the culture. It makes it very clear what the agenda really is and how it's being executed upon the people. That must change, and it can, by leadership that defines what peace and prosperity is about. And to me, that's living wage jobs and creating a middle class in every nation. A novel idea that has come of its time. And I will be promoting that idea at the UN. I have created 8 political parties on 8 continents. Right now, Justin Trudeau in Canada is making a mockery of British democracy. People are suffering there, just as they are here in the United States, because of a global elite that is putting everything on tilt by their policies and their attitudes toward the common people. People have to survive. People have to thrive. They can't be on the streets. We have to help them get on their feet. But those who are mentally ill, that's going to require a different taste or different tactic to get them in a position to be helped, if that's possible. Some of them may have to be institutionalized. I don't know. But I do know that we have to change the policies to bring about jobs instead of joblessness. And that's really, to me, the cycle that hasn't been addressed by this culture and the politicians and the people in power. Joblessness versus homelessness is a problem that is created by policy that does not work for the people. And you know it out there in Las Vegas, just how bad it is
Well, yeah.
on the streets.
Well, I mean, I just went to go take my nephew to the park for his, his belated birthday celebration, because we always take him to Cane's Chicken, Raising Cane's, and then we go to the park and we play soccer, because we like soccer. And we went there. We couldn't even park on the side of the road, on the sidewalk. There were so many tents posted up there. We had to park across the street from the park and then go in that way. But
I believe you.
It's literally everywhere. You see it everywhere. Even in my own neighborhood, I can see it. There's like right in the alley, but just outside my window. And you can see it every day. It's really bad. It's gotten really bad. I mean, that's how many people's lives have been affected.
Exactly. And exactly. So this is how we roll with all of this, and I am very encouraged, because this campaign was created out of nothing, and it has continued to evolve, because we have something.
Barbara, can I let you go, because I think we have another caller trying to call in, and I want to get them in.
Certainly. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for calling in, Barbara.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah, I think we missed an incoming call because we were on the line. But anyways, if you're watching, Kathleen, feel free to call in now if you want.
Right. And any other caller, I'm not sure what's going on with Debra today. I expected that I would have heard from her, but things happen and people's lives have unforeseen experiences. But we roll with it. Our show is designed to address concerns. There's another concern that I have today too, and that is with respect to someone I know in Illinois who called me yesterday and told me his wife is suffering because of the jab. She got vaccinated, he got vaccinated, they're in their 80s, and now she has heart fibrillation, AFib. And that's bad because AFib can go into strokes and it can go into heart attacks. As a matter of fact, one of our important members, you know him as Richard Sanders, his father had a heart attack last week. He went to Indianapolis, Indiana to see another one of his sons perform in an entertainment venue. I think it was a play. He's an adult male. He's like 60 years old. His father and his mother went to Indiana from Illinois to see him perform. And the father suffers a heart attack. He's rushed to the hospital. They provide an operation on a stent. He had 100% blockage in one of his main arteries to his heart. They were able to save his life. He has two other arteries that have blockage as well. What's unfortunate is the same area he lives in Marion, Illinois, has a major hospital called Heartland. Yet the level of incompetence coming out of that hospital is appalling. Because Mr. Sanders Sr. went last week, prior to his heart attack, to have himself checked out. As a consequence, the heart, when people said there was nothing wrong with him, yet he leaves Illinois, goes to Indiana, and has a heart attack. This is garbage.
It is.
Yeah.
Covering their asses is what it is. It's bullshit.
Well, yeah, it just, I don't understand some of these people. I told Richard Jr., my running mate, that he needs to take his dad over to Carbondale Memorial Hospital. That's where I have gone when I am there in Southern Illinois. Those people there are wonderful, and the doctors are too. But when I was diagnosed with prostate issues. I had my operation at Barnes Hospital in St. Louis. And Dr. I have to apologize. His name leaves me at the moment. But he did a wonderful job, and he saved my life. I have a friend who was actually my coach in high school who contacted me yesterday, and I learned he's on dialysis because he has kidney problems, kidney disease. I don't know if it was caused because of his prostate, but the kidneys are very susceptible to infection. If there's a buildup within the bladder up to in the urine into the kidneys, and that can cause damage. And that's true for both men and women. So we all have some health concerns regarding what is happening. I recognize that my book, The Ball Care, Healthcare the People Can Support, is something I believe everyone should read. Why? Because this book defines what healthcare is in America and how it has gone amok. There is a problem here with the healthcare system. Obamacare hasn't solved it. Neither has Medicare. But ball care can and ball care will. How? Because ball care talks about paying for your health care because the doctor is in control. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That means that the government is the payer and the doctor is the provider of healthcare service. We don't want to have accountants or insurance adjusters making decisions on major healthcare procedures. If you're 80 or 90 years old and you need a procedure and the doctor thinks it's warranted, you don't want to have an accountant or adjuster tell your doctor, well, this person's too old, it's too expensive, and we don't want to pay for it, even though the procedure might extend that person's life. And if that person desires to have their life extended, why shouldn't they get it? Why should they be put in a position to not have what the doctor orders? What say you, Stephen?
I completely agree. I mean, that's just dealing with our own insurance, for my mother's medical care. It's almost impossible to get them to pay for anything. And when you do, it's like here and there, they nitpick and, oh, well, this is too much. And then they don't want to pay for this or that. It's ridiculous. And people's lives and their quality of care is being affected by this. My mother's included.
Exactly.
And that pisses me off.
You're right. I mean, you say it so well. And this is a common problem within the healthcare system. That's why I wrote this book. And the government is the payer, the doctor is in control. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That's what Barack Obama said. However, the government, in the case of Obamacare, is nitpicking who gets service and who doesn't. That's not in ball care. Ball care provides service to everybody who the doctor orders service for. The government is only the payer. The doctor is in control, and the paying of the bills comes through the government. And the government, in terms of reorganizing the tax structure, will be able to pay for universal health care, and the people will benefit greatly. No co-pays, no deductibles, no co-insurance, no Medicare 80% and 20% supplements. It is 100% health care that individuals demand and expect. And I am here to...
And they deserve it too. They deserve proper health care. Everybody does.
Exactly. I am here to execute it. for the American people as President of the United States. Praise God.
Here, praise God.
So, how are we doing on time?
We got about another 10 minutes, give or take. It's about 2:50, so we're 40 minutes in, so we can do another 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, I just, I'm thinking today about what it is that I have been engaged in here since the weekend, and proceeding with all due diligence to organize the campaign in all 50 states. I believe that as we continue to have people like Robert Gettinger produce graphics, I sent him some graphic design work for airplanes. He did do some of that already, and he did provide he's doing some GIF type stuff that
GIF animation. Okay, cool.
yeah, GIF animation, right. And that's nice. And then I believe he is working on some airplane stuff. And so that's good. And this afternoon I've been talking to some airports around this area about doing some rally stuff. But I have to say this, these airport places are not cheap, or they don't have hangar space. The reason we need hangars is because just like this afternoon, I don't know if you're aware of it, but Florida can change, its weather can change on a dime. And you can be outside and it's fine for, when you're out there, and then suddenly it will change and a downpour will come, like very, very strong downpours. And it'll last for maybe 20 minutes and it's gone. But if you're outside doing events, you're not going to be able to survive that. So we want hangars out in a position where the airport provides that support shelter. And we like the idea of an airport hangar because it's an airport. And the media is designed for events. Like when I come to Las Vegas, I want to do an event at a hangar. So we'll see about that, preferably soon, sometime in the fall and the winter out there, because it's a lot cooler. And doing events in the summer is ridiculous out there.
Oh, it's brutal out here. Trust me.
It is brutal. Exactly. So, I'm very aware of that. And hopefully by that time, we will also have our aircraft, which we are looking at. We want to own the aircraft. And we want to lease with a contractor the pilots, the food, the fuel, and be able to travel all over this country and possibly beyond with programs and procedures that will provide the impetus for real change in not only America, but the world. That is why I'm going to the United Nations. That is why the Ball Doctrine lives. That is why I am here. And for that, praise God. And I want to congratulate you on your work last week. I thought you did an excellent job on the editing.
Thank you.
And appreciate the edits when you edit the shows so that it's smooth and quick intros, in terms of getting right into the show.
Especially since we had audio issues with that intro playing last week. That was not expected. I don't even know how that happened because I didn't have any issues today.
Good. Well, yeah, you're dealing with electronics. Electronics can be tricky.
Yeah.
And, I have my own to deal with too. So I appreciate what we're dealing here. And that's why I'm following very closely with these events as they happen, and point out how we may need to review them to make them better.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as
trying to improve, that's always a constant you have to do, is always trying to self-improve. Any kind of work you're doing, that's how you maintain your work ethic and your ability to be objective and see where you can, because it's hard to do that when you let ego step in the way. So being able to have a third party tell you would this could be better, this could be better, that's very, very valuable. So, called constructive criticism.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean the thing of having a finished product that works is key to rallying people around you and maintaining them around you.
Yep.
So none of us have a crystal ball. None of us have all the answers, but we do have a path to follow and to guide us. And that's very important and very beneficial for the future that we live. And I couldn't be more excited and happy with the developments that are continuing to take place and continue to show the way for a new path in America and beyond. Praise God.
Praise God. Here. I think all of us are definitely doing our part. And I mean, I've seen so many people, and not just the advocacy movement, but in and just I've connected with so many people when I've been covering these issues. It's been amazing to see everybody come together. There's infighting sometimes, but you have to learn to tune out that bullshit and focus on the mission. And when you have an ability to rally people, man, that's a gift.
Exactly. I just want to say too, in the campaign, Helen Taylor, she is a co-campaign manager in Missouri. She has had several health-related issues she has dealt with, and it has impacted her life. She communicated with me this last weekend regarding all of it. And I was very pleased to hear from her because I had not for some time. I was getting very concerned. But I understand she is going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to be treated through what is called a med bed. And I am not real familiar with that term, but
I have heard of those. That's the first I've heard with anybody. Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible.
I guess it is. I don't understand.
I've heard the rumors. Oh my God! I'll tell you off air because there's so much backstory to this. But this is the first confirmation that I've got from anybody in any of my circles that this is actually happening. I've heard rumors, but this is the first confirmation I've received. And that's Harry. You heard it live on the air, folks. Right through Dennis.
Well, that's what she said that in her. We texted each other, and then she provided a sample of a med bed, and it looked very high tech.
It is.
Like it has.
These are supposedly using a frequency technology to heal. That's how it works, from what I understand. It is very.
Yeah, artificial intelligence, AI.
That's part of it. That's an aspect of it, yes. But it's supposed to allow the body to heal naturally through resonant frequencies.
I guess I guess that's true. I don't know, but she's going to Philadelphia to be treated with a med bed. And she has indicated that she has been promoting the campaign in Missouri and beyond. She has a lot of contacts too. And so we are encouraging more of the same from others. And Brian Goudier, I wrote a letter for him today for his employer because Brian wants to tag along to the UN. So if he gets what he wants to do, he will fly out of Lambert in St. Louis. I guess that's where you flew in, unless it was Columbia, I'm not sure. But he will fly from Lambert International Airport in St. Louis, Missouri, to LaGuardia in New York and meet me there. And then from there, on the 26th of October, we will shuttle over to the East River. And that is where the UN is.
Right.
There is a visitor center We will get passes, then we will go in the building, and then we will go on tour in the building. There is a gentleman by the name of Ryan at the bookstore that I'm going to visit with. I have a book for him. He's going to take it to his higher-ups to see about selling the book in the store. Praise God.
Crossing my fingers, man. That'd be a good one, wouldn't it?
It is. It's all God's plan. This is not about me. I want everyone to understand that. This is not about me. This is about we the people. My reward is good government for our children and generations to come. To have us be in the politics of our children and our families. That is what I believe the founders wanted ultimately, to maintain and preserve our democracy and our republic of laws. And all you need to do is to look and see the sacrifice that has been given by so many at those crosses, those white crosses of the soldiers, both male and female, who gave it all for us during the service of their time. Because you don't get a white cross unless you served at a time in battle or conflict. Except if you passed on and you are a member of the veterans, you can be buried at one of the military cemeteries. But it doesn't matter. All of the people who were in the military, they went there to serve this country and serve its people, so that we would have a chance not only to survive, but to thrive. Praise God.
Here, praise God. I think that's a great way to wrap it up. I think we owe our veterans
I think so.
a debt of gratitude, and
Yeah.
more than that, we owe them a debt of duty. We have a duty to
Amen.
maintain and preserve this liberty they've given us.
Amen. Very good. All right. Well, listen, go through it, edit it, and then get to me as soon as you can. We'll see about Debra next time, see what's going on and where she's at, and proceed.
Sounds like a plan. All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to play her out, and then we will wrap it up.